to the streets of Long Beach for the first round of the 2018 Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. I'm Jared Dienda, and my co-host once again, Ryan Sage. Ryan, 2018, we are kicking off our 15th season ever of the Formula Drift Championship, and last year was notably awesome. It was great, but what are some of your thoughts about last season and coming into this season?
I think it's just crazy to say 15 years. We've been doing this sport for 15 years, and since 2009, we've been here at the streets of Long Beach. It's been a phenomenal run. Every year, the event seems to grow more and more, and I think what happens when we come to Long Beach is it really sets the stage for the rest of the season. And where we finished off at Irwindale with James Dean taking the championship, I have all kinds of questions that I want to get answered about this year's field and the 2018 championship.
Yeah, 2017, James Dean was just so dominant, just so impressive, and came out swinging. If you can recall, last year he won here, and then to bookend, Peter Vincic, his teammate, ends up winning Irwindale. He grabs the championship. But Frederick Osbo, he's back. He's got a new car, very proven Papadakis team, and then Odi Bakshis, he's in the same car. So taking a lot what we learned from 17, applying it to 18 on a very unforgiving track. This could kick off your season in grand fashion, or it could quickly end it. Sometimes we've seen that from some of these vehicles going to the walls.
Yeah, I think with a lot of drivers, coming out of 17 into 18, there's a friendly rivalry that goes on between each of the drivers. But you have to know deep down that everybody did not like getting beat by James Dean. Somebody coming in and having that Daigo-style type effect, 6 podiums, 4 wins. The drivers need to know what they have to do in the offseason in order to combat that. And I think we'll find out here in Long Beach just who did the proper research and is going to have what it takes to beat James Dean.
Well, a lot of exciting drivers, some repeat customers, some usual suspects that have been competing for now going into the 15th season, but some newcomers. Federico, notably, a twin supercharged V12 Ferrari. I did not stutter. That's a Ferrari. Also, Dirk Stratton, he's moved up from ranks of Pro 2 into Pro. So a lot of exciting things unfolding for you.
Yeah, I think it's cool that some of the Pro 2 guys opted to get the Pro 1 license and come up. We do have a registered full 32 field this year, and we will see only 2 drivers missing competition today because of mechanicals. Dean Carney was out as of this morning, and then we also heard that Taylor Hull was not going to be able to make it to event. So there'll be 2 open slots in qualifying, but for the remainder of the season, it looks like we're going to have that full 32 field.
Well, the party begins today. We have qualifying, and then it's game time tomorrow. But for more on technicalities and what the judges are looking for, we're going to take a short break and bring in Ryan Lantain.
All right, we're back here with Judge Ryan Lantain, also the 3rd member of our broadcast team today here for qualifying. Now, Ryan, you guys do a big download after every year, not only here, but also in Japan. And there's been some changes in the judging criteria. But before we get to that, let's talk about what the fans can expect today for the event format.
Today is qualifying, so each driver is going to get to do 2 non-consecutive runs. We're going to score them, line, angle, and style, and they're going to keep the higher score of those 2 runs. Those drivers will then move on to head-to-head competition for tomorrow, and any ties that we get are going to be broken by their lower qualifying score.
All right, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's take a look at the first track map that we're going to see. This is going to be brand new for this year. This is much different in terms of the coloring that we had from last year, but in terms of the meaning and the purpose, there's also some differences as well. Why don't you break it down?
Right there on the map, you can see that the scoring is a little bit different for style, line, and angle than it was last year. Last year, line and angle were 35. This year, they're worth 30 points each, which means that style is now worth 40. We've taken initiation out of style in terms of its own breakout, but we're putting the initiation into fluidity and commitment. So it's still being looked at, just broken down a little bit differently. So we're putting more emphasis on style, and you can see that style there is where all the blue sections are, and line and angle will be in the yellow areas. So line and angle will be judged at the zones, clips, and touch and go areas. The style will be everything in between there. So transitions, the way they approach those outer zones or inner clips, we're really looking for them to be committed and fluid throughout the entire course.
So as the fans will understand is that deductions and style are going to be in between those zones and clips, not in those zones and clips.
Exactly. The style really is what happens between the zones and clips, the way the car transitions, the way the car is set up for transition, the way that it is settled after transition. That way we're really not going to be double deducting for errors that could occur in a touch and go or in between. The judges have their specific areas to judge, and they're only going to be looking at those specific areas.
All right, so let's take a look at the next track map that people will be familiar with. This is the acceleration deceleration map, and there's been a lot of discussion about what the name of this map is really supposed to be, but the intent of it is really to give a guide for the drivers.
Exactly. The word excel could almost be taken off of that map. The deceleration areas are the real areas that we're concerned with here. We want to make sure that the drivers are only slowing down in the areas where you see those red hash lines there. Anything outside of that, the driver should be either maintaining pace or increasing pace. But it doesn't mean that they have to necessarily be accelerating, which is why the excel might drop off there at some point.
All right, so now we did talk about this at the beginning, but let's bring it up and talk about what style is and what it represents.
So style now, commitment and fluidity are the only two criteria that we're going to be breaking out. Fluidity is worth 20, commitment is also worth 20.
Now finally, for new fans of the show and the series, you'll want to describe what an incomplete is, and then the list, of course, of the absolute incompletes.
So incompletes are when a driver will, in the past we would have called it a 0, but since in tandem we don't use scoring with numbers, we have what we call the incomplete runs.
Yeah, these are the absolutes, but you guys also have the discretion to give an incomplete if the run is just all over the place.
Exactly.
All right, well, that is it for the breakdown of the judging criteria. Very exciting day here as we kick off qualifying round 1 here at Long Beach. We'll be right back after this break with our first battle.
All right, so again, myself, Jared Dienda, Ryan Sage, Ryan Lontaine is going to join us, as well as Lorette Nichols. She's going to be giving us some insight tomorrow. And but Ryan, just coming into the 15th year, we've grown up so much, more gray hair, lack of hair, but we've seen so many things unfold and transpire just over the years. But just the progression, I would say, even over the last 5 years, but now from 15 years ago, it's just fantastic to be back here.
Yeah, I was listening into a lot of the drivers, and
all right, so Ryan's having a little technical difficulties here, but I mean, in all honesty, just you know, being here at Long Beach for 9 years and now 15 years overall, and you know, obviously you've heard the news if you're a Drift fan that we are going back to Irwindale, not Las Vegas, but again, Ryan, is your headset back yet?
I'm going out to the stream, so I'm not going out to live. So
okay,
you should probably
all right, so yeah,
over.
I should probably take over. But we're just going to wrap out about some of the vehicles and what's going down here, but. Some of the guys re-entering. Let's talk about Forrest Wang. Forrest Wang, he's back in the mix. Yeah, we got some Forrest. Even a life-size cutout. Is that life-size? It looks larger than life, actually. His hang loose, his shaka hands. We'll get a shot of that later. His hang loose shaka hand looks large, larger than normal. Federico Cerifo, the Triple F drifting department, Ferrari 599 GTB, and this thing's insane. It's a twin supercharged V12 Ferrari, so it kind of makes you pucker every time that thing hits the track. But was fortunate enough to be down on the wall when he rode by and got really close to the wall, and looks like he's going to be having some fun out here. And then just notably, just James Dean last year coming into this year, does he have what it takes to back it up? Also, Frederick Osbo, he's in a new vehicle, but the Papadakis racing team very well established, obviously with a few championships under their belt, including Frederick and then previously Tanner Faust, as the Papadakis racing team operated those vehicles with Tanner. But also Odi Bakshi, so I think he's one to watch, because if you think about him being in the same vehicle, it's a very proven chassis. The S14 did some aesthetically pleasing things for, you know, running the wide body kit, the S15 front end, but you know, the guts of it and the heart of the beast is definitely there. Are we back?
We're back.
All right,
we're
cool.
back, baby.
All right, well, perfect timing. Forrest Wang, car number 808. Here we go. Vectasia, Achilles Radial, NRG Innovations, Sylvia, S15, our first qualifying run. Nice job getting out of the touch and go, getting on to that outer zone, into the second outer zone, and now approaching that final front clip. The Black Magic front clip wraps it around. Nice job there by Forrest Wang. Forrest Wang, great way to start. Great way for Forrest Wang to come back and show you know he definitely has a lot of style. Talking to Nick Dujon, who actually works on his team, a former employee of Formula Drift and operated Vegas Drift, but he talked about just the different things they did to the car adding speed, adding grip. But take a look, Ryan.
Yeah, ever the fan favorite here in Forest Wing. You can see starting off solid here. Great angle coming through that touch and go. Nice smooth transition back around, just rubbing that first outer zone pretty deep into the second outer zone there. And the judges really want to see you leave that zone at the right place. Forrest tucks up on the inside right here on that last inside clip and pushes through, and a great start for him. It's not too often we see him starting in that 31st position there, so having a season off and now coming back, a true fan favorite of the sport, a great start for him.
All right, so waiting for his score there for Forrest Wang, the Vaptasia Sylvia S15. As you said, Ryan, definitely a crowd favorite. So again, awaiting Forrest Wang's score, and the score is a 93 for Forrest Wang. So already out of the gate. And again, style 40 points overall of the 100. Line and angle, line independently 30, angle 30. Okay, so next up, Matt Van Kirk. You can see him there on the start line. And sending car through the start chicane. Here he comes. Makes some noise for Matt Van Kirk. Throwing it in. Let's see if he can get out to that touch and go. Gets into the rumble strips. Nice job using all the course. Out to touch and go. There's the dedicated outside zone. Lacking a little bit of angle. Like to see some more angle. Oh, and then look, backs it into that second outer zone. Well played by Van Kirk. Oh, and a wide swing there. Looks like he gets out of shape, but still keeps it reasonably sideways around that final front clip. Let's take a look here at Matt Van Kirk's first qualifying run.
Yeah, Matt taking that opportunity to grab that Pro 1 license after good performance last year in Pro 2. You can see here getting out to that touch and go right here, pushing out towards that first outer zone, not all the way out there. Then he makes a little bit of contact with the wall, and that pretty much is the true definition of contact. Not very interrupted, so he hung in there, but he didn't have that little straightening right there on that last inside clip. So we'll have some deductions there. It did seem like he got through the finish line while in drift, so I don't think it's going to be an incomplete.
And there's Matt Van Kirk. Looks like a score of 70, and that is Kazuya, not Matt Van Kirk. But a score of 70 currently puts him into, obviously, second position. So here we go, Taguchi. Leaving the start chicane. Car looks pretty good in practice earlier today. Also, all the drivers only 12 practice runs before qualifying, getting all the way out to touch and go, but this is where it counts, and maxing out the angle, and just throws too much at it. So Kazuya Taguchi in that top one oil R35 will score a 0.
Yeah,
excuse me, yeah, an incomplete run, I should add.
Unfortunate for him there. He actually is one of the most popular drivers and a very solid driver in FD Japan. New vehicle for him, obviously a lot to deal with coming over here to the States. You can see trying to get out to that touch and go there, and then wrap it back around here.
Next up, Dirk Stratton. Dirk Stratton from Ohio. The Lingenfelter Performance, Achilles tire. Chevrolet Chevrolet Corvette C6. Here we go. All right, there it is. Initiating, using all that Fortune Auto suspension travel into that first outer zone. Now into the second. Very fluid. Like the fluidity of it. Could be closer given, we started things off there with Forrest Wang. Made it look really easy, but a great debut run for Dirk Stratton coming all the way from Ohio. That's a great way to start for him. Yeah. The forecast is going to be absolutely Bluebird day, both today and tomorrow. Let's take a look. There's 64 degrees, just a slight little breeze. And Dirk Stratton's score. And there it is, an 83 for Dirk Stratton. Nice solid score. And that's got to be a confidence booster. Push him on a little further. All right, so Frederico here, one of the most unique drift vehicles we've ever seen in Formula Drift competition. Just listen, again, I had the pleasure of being down on the wall, pleasure or pain, let's call it what it is. This thing is loud and proud. Take a listen to Federico on his Formula Drift debut from Italy. Lighten up those Nitto tires, take a listen. Woo, nice job on that first outer zone and the second. Now bringing it into that final clip. Dialing in a wide swing there, could have tightened it up. All All right, so Federico did get a 67. That was a 67 for Federico. So not the highest score, but a score nonetheless. So that will land him into head-to-head competition. And here is Austin Meeks talking about his new sponsor, Galp, which is a oil company. But you'll notice that back end, basically the passenger side rear quarter panel got into a tussle with a wall, but if you're going to back it in, or if you're going to hit a wall, you definitely want it to be the back end as opposed to the front where all the critical components are. It's going into both of ours. It sounds like it's playing the net sound out to the house, and it's just all sort of distorted.
Can I hear that again?
All right, there's Austin Meeks. You can see that again. And Austin Meeks backs it in once again, but just a quick little tap, not as violent or volatile as he did previously in practice.
So here it is again, Jared. You can see just maybe a little bit of a late initiation, carrying too much momentum, taps the wall again there. So he's got damage on both sides of the vehicle now. One from the second outer zone and this one here from the first outer zone. So regrouping. Big day for him. He's just got to get a score on the board, and yes, the judges are going with an incomplete.
Yeah, so that's an incomplete run for him. We've deemed it incomplete as opposed to a 0, because when it goes to head-to-head, we get rid of the number scoring system. Another Formula Drift rookie here, Kevin Lawrence. And Kevin Lawrence has been working hard, his team working feverishly to get out here, as unfortunately his competition car that took him to a Pro 2 championship last year, which he did phenomenally well. I thought he was out, but then the good luck shined on him last year. But let's talk about his run right now. The Injuku Racing R32 Skyline, keeping it towards the middle of the road, swinging back way off of that second outer zone. Now bring it into the final front clip, dials it in there, but talking about, again, this is a RB. And waiting for K-Law's score, and there it is. It looks like a 68. That is a 68 for Kevin Lawrence and his Injuku Racing R32 Skyline. All right, next up, Farouk Kouai from Poland originally, now living in Northern California, the Reckless Racing E92. Farouk from, I gotta say, from last year to earlier in practice, looking like he's really been working on that car feverishly, and it looks like it's in a much better position mechanically from last year. Nice job by Farouk, getting out of the touch and go. Doesn't get to that. I mean, that's the critical part, is you need to get to that first outer zone. When they enter into that 90-degree turn, the outer zone, that's a touch and go. That's not a dedicated zone. You need to hit it and quit it. Seems like a few of these guys, Ryan, are getting out to the touch and go and you know, really dedicating themselves out there, but they need to focus more on the first outer zone under the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, everything is about the setup, and it's really hard to make up ground if you miss that first touch and go, especially with the second outer zone. Just trying to draw that nice smooth line between the first touch and go and the first outer zone. I mean, everything I think that we're doing now is really focused on trying to get the best head-to-head battles, and so how that translates into tandem is something that we focus on.
All right, Farouk's score there, a 66. I think there's this understanding of compromise, you know, and that's and basically how you're going to work it out, and it seems like you said, everything working towards a better head-to-head and style, and making it really stylish. So I'm excited to see how this season unfolds, who it's going to favor, and who it's going to kind of hurt.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we've really been talking a lot about, especially in drivers' meetings, is just putting a lot more attention on the lead driver in competition.
All right, here we go. This is Rad Dan Burkett, the Rad Industries next entire Toyota Supra. Great-looking car and great-looking line. Woo! Massive angle there from Dan Burkett. Bringing it around. Nice, just tapping that final front clip. Knocking it out of the way, originally from Washington, now living here in Southern California.
So strong performance here by Dan to kick things off on run number 1. You can see initiation, grabs the e-brake, and you can see the yellow marker on the wheel there. That's actually a tool for the judges to let them know what's going on with the vehicles when they're grabbing the e-brake. And here for Brad Dan, a great job through that second outer zone. A tiny bit tight there on that last inside clip, but he makes it look pretty, and overall a pretty good run there.
But right now, again, waiting for Dan Burkett's Rad Industries Toyota Supra. Great looking car, and I gotta say, from last year to this year, boom, an 83. If I can recall, you know, Dan Burkett, his debut Formula Drift Pro, and just compared from last year to this year, looks really strong. Looks a lot more poised.
Yeah, and very comfortable, it seems like,
Yeah.
you know, taking some pretty solid risks there on run number 1. So great start for him. He's sitting in position number 2 right now, so a good way to start off the 2018 season.
Yeah, a flourishing team. His wife is spotter Renee, and she's in his dome telling him what's going on. Another husband and wife team, Adrian and Kyle Mohan. Kyle is from here in Long Beach, California. The best finish, I can remember it. He finished 4th. He hasn't podiumed. I want to see this man get on the box. Again, from right here in Long Beach, California, American Ethanol, MX-5 on Nexen Tires. This is Kyle Mohan. Oh, and shutting it down. All right, so and here comes Cameron Moore. And Cameron Moore has an incomplete run as well, going too hard into the touch and go. And that you could see. Happy to see the team work to get the car back out here on track. Potentially not just cosmetic issues that he's experienced as going into that touch and go. Your car needs to be dialed and tight.
Yeah, let's take a look at this here. Cameron Moore, tough break. Straight shot here into initiation, throws it in, headed towards the touch and go. You can see big angle in the car here, and then right there, that back end just comes undone. And he is unable to finish the run, so it'll be an incomplete for him. He'll go back along with Kyle Mohan and Kazuya Taguchi, who currently have incompletes on run number 1.
Yeah, that's just a real unfortunate for Cameron Moore. I know he wants to throw down here. All right, so it seems that, again, Jeff Jones having some issues, just getting some words with Pat, basically talking about he's steward up here, and he said that Jeff Jones was thrashing to get the car back together. Now it looks like he's strapping everything on, and he's going to have to call a competition timeout. All right, so as we are getting prepared for our next battle, let's take a look as we are opening, again, this is round 1 of 8 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. All right, so getting things going there. I know we always get the messages. What time? If it's this time, that time. I love that graphic right there. That helps out so much. Everybody's, well, in Sweden, what time would it be? In Japan, what time would it be? There you go. Well, right now it's time for Jeff Jones, the Doc X, brand new car for him. He debuted this 370Z as he is lighting up some Falcon tires. Jeff Jones, oh, gets out of shape. Big correction there into that second outer zone. Around that final front clip. And that Edelbrock powered 370Z as we are getting it going. And Jeff Jones, that will be an incomplete run. That will be an incomplete run for Jeff Jones. All right, next up, this driver probably had just one of the just magnanimous moments last year. Just some of the just fantastic driving. I mean, Ryan, you got emotional watching it, and I did too. But let's see if he can repeat it again. Just an awesome cat and a great driver. Here we go, Jonathan Castro, Jardon Meteldon, GT86. As Castro brings that second outer zone, could go deeper into it. Keeps it safe and off the wall around that final front clip, dials it in. Pretty straightforward run. So next up was to be Ken Gucci, who is one of the Formula Drift veterans, a handful of them who's been competing since day 1, 2004. But there's Castro scoring 80. That's an 8-0, 80 for Jonathan Castro. But just hearing from the Greddy team and Toyota Racing team of Ken Gucci, that they just swapped out the transmission and they are foregoing his first qualifying run. So that's basically, you know, putting all your eggs in one basket. You only got one run to get it done.
A lot of pressure for run number 2 for Ken Gucci there. He just needs to put a score on the table, but nonetheless, you have to hope that there's a, you know, functioning vehicle that he can operate with there, and I'm confident his team will be able to get him to the line. But yeah, definitely a lot of pressure here for run 2.
Yeah, so, and as I said, you cannot make it to head-to-head with 2 incomplete runs. So here we go. This is the debut of this brand new car, Matt Field, the beast from the Bay, and that Falcon Tires Wish Corvette. Great looking car. Oh, and big angle there, and comes to a halt, and that will be an incomplete run, unfortunately, for Matt Field. Oh man, that is not what I had expected or hoped for Matt Field.
So tough break for Matt Field there. The shakedown continues with the new vehicle, but he will have one more to go. Let's see if we can ascertain and dig into a little bit of what happened here. Just touching the cone coming out of the chicane. Snappy initiation, gets back on the throttle here. Let's see as he gets over to this touch and go. Big angle there, just never really brought it around.
I mean, just stood on it and just looped around.
Right there.
Yeah.
You can see he's just trying to get the car to transition back around. He's not able to do it in time, and does need to pull out of the drift there. So tough break for Matt on run number 1, and he'll be getting an incomplete here as we move on to the next competitor.
And that's one of many. A lot of nerves running through the veins of these pilots. Again, Cameron Moore. We have that of right now Ken Gucci because of the mechanical, but Matt Field, man, unfortunate for him as well. So quite a few drivers having incomplete runs on their first run.
Okay,
all right. Next up, Alec Honadell, the Permatex O'Reilly Auto Parts S chassis. The Honadell Huddy Racing, Rain-X, Permatex, Nexen tires, as well as Hoonigan, Fast Orange, and Spray 9. This is Alec Honadell, who has really just progressed as a driver. I'd say every year, just getting better and better. Very dynamic, very fun, kind of no risk it, no biscuit kind of attitude. And right now he's going for it. Doesn't get all the way out to that outside zone, but now transitions into the second. Good fluid style. Again, style equated to 40 points overall. Fluidity and commitment. Well done. Okay, so again, we are waiting for the score of Honadell. Next up will be Alex Hilbrun. Brian, that's tough. That's a tough one for you. You'd always call Alec Alex. You haven't done it in a while, but 87 for Alec. But I remember you used to Alec Hilbrun, Alex Honadell. But you haven't done that in a while.
Thanks.
Good job is what I'm saying. But these guys right next to each other. And Hilbrun, I heard somebody overheard him say he hasn't really been driving since Irwindale. So we'll see how that fares. He looked good earlier, you know, kind of a new livery, a new look. But the Inca Madness Racing, he calls it the Monster BMW, no affiliation to any energy drinks. Just it's a beast of a car. So hence the Monster BMW.
Well, and he had a smashing beginning of the season last year, not only here but also at the Grand Prix.
Yep. Yeah. So here we go. Hilbrun, who is so dominant in Pro 2 right now, gets up into the touch and go. Into that second outer zone. You can hear him just kind of massaging the throttle throughout. Big heavy lift there around that final front clip. Like the impact, like the fluidity. Podiumed every round of competition in Pro 2 a few years ago against his competitors. And there we go. Hilbrun scoring 82. An 82 puts him into 5th position. So an 82 for Hilbrun. Next up, more teal and blue. This is JTP, Justin Pollock. Teal and blue scallops. One of those companies that have been around since day one. And a lot of familiar faces through the paddock. And Justin Pollock hasn't been competing since day one, but definitely aware of Formula Drift, but a long-time competitor. Originally from Michigan, now living here in Southern California. Here comes JTP. Throws into the touch and go. Throws some more attitude at it. Nice into the first outer zone. Look at the car. Very settled. Very poised into that final front clip. Do we have a new leader? What do you think?
Right here. Let's see what the judges think about Justin Pollock's run.
All right. So a 93, as Ryan said, is the score to beat. Do you guys think that's enough? Do you think JTP could be our new #1 qualifier? I know Forrest Wang has got a lot of fans out there. All right, so Justin awaits his score. And what does JTP have? The scores are in an 88, so no, he does not take out Forrest Wang, but a great score of 88 puts him in that number 2 position, and that's a coveted spot too, given that again, showing up with 30 cars, that is if all the vehicles throw down a score, you'll get that buy run. So next up, we have Chelsea Denofa, RTR Motorsports, BC Racing, Nitto Tires, Ford Performance, Mustang RTR. Happy birthday, Chelsea. It's your birthday, baby. Let's see if he can throw it down. Shred it, bro. Woo! Gets meanly into that touch and go. Exploding those taillights. This is Chelsea Denofa at his finest. He's got a rocket ship of a car. And Chelsea known for that high impact, literally and figuratively. Yeah, drivers and judges have come to know Chelsea Denofa for that high impact style. Like I said, literally high impact and, you know, figuratively speaking here. But Chelsea Denofa, an aggressive driver, almost forge line wheel deep into that touch and go area. But a lot of drivers are doing that. They're going too hard into that touch and go area. But Chelsea did have, like you said, the prowess to stay calm, stay cool, and get out to that first outer zone. So again, happy birthday to you, Chelsea Denofa. Let's see if you got a little birthday gift here. An 87 for Chelsea Denofa. You can see the scores there, 20, 29. Again, 30 points for line, 30 points for angle, and then 40 overall for style. Here's the 3-time Formula Drift champion. Most recently, the 2016 season. This is Chris Forsberg. Originally from Doylestown, Pennsylvania. The NOS Energy Drink Nissan 370Z on Nexen tires. Running a VQ again this year. A very DIY season for him compared to previous years, working with previous teams, and now him and his team really thrashing on the car. They have a new series of Blackout Garage. You can see all the action of Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg as they operate out of the same transport and rig. They are essentially the Ryan and Chris show. Here we go. See a little nitrous being sprayed in the air. Let's see what the force has got. Chris Forsberg, the NOS Energy Drink 370Z on Nexen tires. Out to that touch and go. Into the first outer zone. Nice job there. Into the second outer zone. Keeps it fluid. You can hear him lifting off the throttle in and really close and tight to that final front clip. All right, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach presented by Permatex. As we await Chris Forsberg's score. All right, scores are in here for Forsberg. An 89 for Chris Forsberg. You can see a 24 line, 28 angle, and a 37. So a lot of points there for style for Forsberg. Again, style equating to 40%, 40 points overall of the 100-point score. All right, so as I said, Matt Coffin, he's got the Ford V8 power plant under the hood of S13, just changing up the livery, maybe changing up the attitude. Here we go, Kaufman. When this guy's on, he is just so fun to watch. Let's see if he is turning it up here today. Kind of a quick transition out of that touch and go. Didn't spend a lot of time hanging it out at the touch and go, quickly getting through the course. And wraps it around that final clip. And there is Kaufman. All right, so put him in a Kaufman, waits for his score. If you're just tuning in, we are live here on the streets of Long Beach, the O'Reilly Auto Parts. Streets of Long Beach presented by Permatex. Round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. I'm Jared Dienda. Also with me is Ryan Sage, as well as Ryan Lontaine will join us tomorrow, as well as Lorette Nickel. Lorette Nickel join us once again, and she will be giving us some insight in what's going on down in the pits, on the grid, or anything down here in the Formula Drift action. Kaufman with a 66, so leaving quite a few points on the board. Line, you can see lacking 20 points there overall. Angle, lacking 7, but next up, Ryan Turk. Ryan Turk, Gum Out, Black Magic, Nexon Tire, Toyota Racing, Toyota 86. And notably, that vehicle, it's the he built with Gum Out in conjunction the GT4586, which is the Ferrari 458 under the hood of a Toyota 86. Here we go. But right now it's about this 2J powered Toyota 86. This is Ryan Turk. Into that touch and go. Doesn't go all the way out there, but works it to that first outer zone. Well played by Ryan Turk. And around that final clip. A very unique livery. You could see that Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg signifying not only Drift Alliance teammates, but operating at their vehicles at the same. They kind of have that signature line down their front bumper in high-vis yellow, high-vis orange on both of their vehicles. And last night was the debut of Race Service, which Race Service is where they film their Blackout Garage show that lives on the internet. So check that out, Blackout Garage, featuring Forsberg and Turk. You could see kind of a, I don't want to say a day in the life, but just kind of hanging out with those guys and seeing what goes into being a pro drifter, either traveling the world or building and prepping their cars for Formula Drift competition. And Ryan Turk with an 89, so he bests his teammate Chris Forsberg. He says, "Gum, get out of here." So again, an 89 there for Ryan Turk. He puts him into second position. Peter Vincik from Poland, the Wordhouse Falcon Tire Nissan Silvia S15. Almost identical vehicle to that of last year's champion of James Dean, but just alternating colors of roofs and stripes. But Peter Vincik, our winner from the most recent Formula Drift round, and that is Irwindale last year. So Peter Vincik, woo, nice job there from him. Gets out that touch and go, works it into the first outer zone. You can hear him just standing on the throttle, putting that 2J through the paces. You can still see, again, Forrest Wang is still our current leader. Is that enough to take him out?
I think this is going to be a big score here.
Yeah.
So take a look at all the nuance here in this run. Watch the initiation right here. He snaps right to it. The tires are rolling in the back. He only hits the e-brake for just a second there, then gets back on the throttle. Smooth right here. Great transition from that first touch and go into the first outer zone. Very clean line here. The throttle control is really awesome. Gets back to that touch and go, and then right there through that last inside clip, the line is just absolutely perfect. So I think this is definitely going to contend up there.
Yeah, Peter Vincik, we knew he kind of had it in him because he's a European drifting champion. He joined forces with James Dean. Got James Dean the basically the funding and put the team together. And right there, boom, a 96. Peter Vincik, our #1 qualifier. Peter Vincik, our #1 qualifier. I do tend to think that, okay, now he's experiencing Long Beach for the second time, so there's got to be some confidence there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, a lot of what we see here in qualifying has manifested itself in practice already, and he was looking very solid there.
Here we go, the ESSA Auto Sports BMW of Michael Essa on Achilles radials. Quickly get ignited. Transition, well done there. Very smooth there from Essa. I know Essa over the years, his driving's kind of just evolved and changed. He used to be really just big and snappy. I would say that was just a nice, good, consistent, fluid run. All right, so supercharged Essa Auto Sports Achilles tire, BMW M3. Getting into not quite top 5, but top 6. And there's Essa's score. Boom, an 86. An 86 puts him into 8th position for Michael Essa. Next up, another Formula Drift champion, Daijiro Yoshihara, also a Formula Drift veteran since day 1. The Turn 14 distribution Falcon tire, Subaru BRZ. This thing is a beast. And there is our Fast Orange qualifying leaderboard. Peter Vincik, 96. Wang with a 93. Turk with an 89. Forsberg with an 89. And Pollock with an 88. Where is Daijiro Yoshihara gonna land? Lights up the Falcon tires into that first touch and go area in the first outer zone. Those bright white wheels showing you minimal to no corrections. Throwing some more angle at it. Nice job. Boom. All right, so Dai Yoshihara, scores are in. 88. an 88 for Dai Yoshihara, turn 14. Distribution, Falcon Tires, Subaru BRZ, puts him into number 5 position. All right, next up, the HGK BMW E92 Eurofighter. Great looking car. He's on Achilles radials, Mass Motorsports V8. Added some high-vis yellow, but still kept it naked. Put a little bit of clothes on, but the carbon Kevlar Eurofighter. This thing is a beast. We saw this thing debut at Irwindale last year. It was basically just to be put on for show, but brought it out of the stable. And here it is on its maiden voyage here in the streets of Long Beach. Christoph Splush. Look at that power bulge there on the hood. You know this thing's got a serious heart. That whole kit HGK builds, that carbon Kevlar thing, and it's just, I mean, it's all carbon Kevlar, and I like what he did. Just you know, I have to say the high vis yellow kind of makes that front bumper pop. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Ryan, what's kind of your favorite looking car out here? That's purely based off aesthetics. Oh, real quick, Christoph's an 88, another 88. So Christoph Splush with an 88 from Latvia in that HGK BMW E92 Eurofighter.
You know, I haven't really had time to fully digest, you know, looking at every single vehicle this year so far. I had a few cars last year that I thought were really cool and stylish, but you know, I think I still need to let it sink in, everything that I've seen so far this year. A lot of times, you know, when we're getting cars into tech and things like that, we don't really get a chance to fully inspect the vehicles until, you know, the first event has really, you know, gone through. You see it on live stream, you see it live, you see photos of it. So,
and unfortunately, the cars, that's the best they're going to look, is at tech, because the rest of the year they're going to get thrashed on, admittedly. Well, I know a driver that wants to throw down here is Vaughn Gittin Jr. in that Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Woo! Getting it all the way out to that second outer zone. RTR ready to rock, wraps around that final clip. Great execution. Is that enough to take down Peter Vincic? As scores are in for Vaughn. 84 and 84 for Vaughn puts him into the 11th position, and finishing overall last year in 4th. He wants to get into that championship position once again. The sophomore season for those vehicles that really kind of changed the game as far as a setup, and you know, very loose setup, hitting their 3-wheel motion that has kind of become their signature move for the Brostangs of Chelsea and Vaughn. And right now finishing 3rd overall last year. One to watch in my eyes. Just a very proven driver, now just changing the looks a little bit, but a very similar car to last year. And oh my goodness, Odie Bakshis going into the wall. Very, you know, is that the announcer's curse, where you start talking, giving all these accolades, and then goes into the wall? That's unfortunate there for Odie Bakshis, Ryan.
Yeah, not something you see very often. We'll have to take a look at what happened there, but that's not something that we typically expect from Odie. Snaps into it, and then right here, it looks like he's just pushing a little bit too hard, or maybe he got the line just off a tiny bit there, and that's all it took.
Better hitting that tire wall than the actual wall, so all the cosmetics I said he added, you know, including the blister flares and the S15 front end, so the S14.5 aesthetic. That will be an incomplete run for Odie Bakshis, who again finished very respectively in just a knockdown, drag him out year last year, finishing third overall. As thank you to Cal Club and all the corner workers and track crew for keeping us safe and sound. But right now, as you can see, not what you'd expect. Frederick Osbo, the hood is popped on his Rockstar energy drink, next entire Toyota Corolla. I couldn't agree more. You said it so well. Only thing I would add is, you know, how is he going to fare with building a new car? You know, I mean, that's kind of risky. All right, so here we go. Frederick Osbo, the Norwegian Hammer, Rockstar energy drink, next entire Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla. Into the touch and go. Does not get all the way out there. Really kind of middle of the road. Now maxing out the angle into that second outer zone. Now bring it on in to the final front clip. And there it is, Frederick Osbo, but this is only run 1. We've only completed, again, this is the first run for all the drivers. Osbo with an 80, an 8-0. That is an 80 for Osbo, puts him into the 15th position as it stands. So James Dean, his first qualifying run, but we will go back to the top of the order. But this is your defending champion. He won here last year. Can he do it again? The Machine is his nickname, and rightfully so. Just seems to have a system down, dials it in, a lot of seat time. If you follow a lot of these drivers on social media, you'll see, a lot of, off-season activities, either driving, creating content, building other cars, doing other stuff. James Dean seems to always be throwing it sideways, anywhere across the globe. As Ryan Sage was saying earlier, kind of a Daigo-esque, influence on what he did here last year in Formula Drift. Here we go, the Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires, Sylvia S15, James the Machine Dean, your defending champion. Gets out that touch and go, works it, woo! Nice and tight to that first outer zone and then into the second. Now bringing it to that final front clip. Could he take out his teammate Peter Vincic with a 96? Again, Vincic with a 96 on his first qualifying run. Is that enough, Ryan?
Well, the momentum, I guess, really hasn't stopped so far for James Dean. Here it is. Let's take a look at this. I mean, basically perfect on the touch and go. Smooth over that first outside zone. The wheels have a lot of forward movement there. He's not braking. You can see great momentum there. The car is really settled.
I mean, could this potentially be a perfect run? Could this be 100? We haven't seen one of those in a while. Why do you laugh? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure why I'm laughing, but you asked an interesting question. I don't know. That's a good question. No, I think the last one we saw was Reese Millen, maybe in 2000, and no,
Tanner had one.
Tanner had one too. Yeah.
No,
there you go.
He does not. But a 96 still, and that puts him into the #1 position, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So I said that Vincic had a 98. I apologize. I read that incorrect. He has a 96. Correct. All right, yeah. Yes. So again, as it stands right now, those guys both 96s. But when we come back, we're going to take a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere if you're here in the building. And if you're at home, don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a short break. We're live, baby. We are here for round 2 or run 2 for the qualifying drivers. Again, Streets of Long Beach. This is the O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach presented by Permatex. This is round 1 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. And both of the Wordhouse Drift Team, if you're just tuning in, with the Wordhouse Drift Team, operating Peter Vincic, and our defending champion, James Dean, currently have 96s. So it's going to come down to their second run on how they fare, if they're going to hold that position or if somebody else is going to knock them off. But we saw a great score out of the gate. You can see that, a 93. So Forrest Wang in the top 3. A great re-entrance of him back into the Formula Drift competition and championship. A great way to start things off, both for the season and for him, again, getting back into Formula Drift competition. But you can see 96, 96, 93, 89, 89, and here we go. Forrest Wang with his second run in that Vaptasia Achilles Radial Energy Innovation Sylvia S15. Forrest Wang rolling into it. Rolling Cole here, nice job. Gets into that first outer zone a little late. And around that final front clip. Well, Forrest Wang always having a pretty stylish looking car, from the deep wheels, the stance, even down to the Super Doof body kit by 2F Performance. But again, picking up that sponsor Vaptasia. Achilles Radials on the corners. Again, Nick and his team just coming in with the different kind of mindset from previous years. And no, he does not better at a 93 on his first run. Stands to be the better of the two. It's a 90 on his second run, which he is currently in the #3 qualifying position. Remember to be sure to tag hashtag FDLB for Formula Drift Long Beach. Let everybody know you're out here. Keep the conversation going, both today and tomorrow. And right now, here's Van Kirk. He knocked over a cone, but it's not a head-to-head battle, so no big deal. All right, here we go. See if we can get filthy here on the streets of Long Beach. What do you got, Van Kirk? Into that second outer zone. He did get a score on his first run. Oh, a big wide swing there. Seems like carries way too much momentum. And admittedly, coming from that second outer zone into that final front clip, the surfaces do change. So it is definitely a blessing that it's not raining. So Van Kirk with a 70 on his first run. Is that enough to better it? Where is he going to land? Where is he going to stand? And no, he does not. A 67 on his second run. So his first run has him in the number 18 position with a score of 70. So Van Kirk with a 70. Kazuya Taguchi, a longtime competitor in Japan, now bringing his talent over here with this Jerry Yang Racing GTR. He has a 0 on his first run. Can he put it down here on his second? This is a do or die for him. Is he going to be seen head-to-head competition on his Formula Drift USA debut? Comes into view of the judges, into that touch and go. Oh no, that's a similar line that he took. Did not hang it out long enough. And around that final front clip. The whales always watching, judging, watching. Look at the drift car. Why are they such judgmental whales up there? If you don't know the background here of in Long Beach, what's that artist's name? Wayland? Wyland?
Yeah,
Wyland? Yeah.
I see you.
Ryan's making spouting noises up here. What's funny is that whale, so there's a scuba diver over there underneath it, but look how small his fin is. His top fin is tiny. If you pan left, is the massive whale, and his top fin is look at the orcas have bigger top fins. What are those, dorsal fins? Dorsal fins. And the score for Taguchi is a 65. A 65 for Taguchi. All right, here we go. Dirk Stratton from Ohio. Stratton Chevrolet, Lingenfelter, Corvette. This thing is a beast. Woo! Nice job there. Flicks it into under the bridge. He's got a score on his first run, but can he better it? Listen to this thing. Wound up. Nice job there by the number 33 from Beloit, Idaho.
Beast of a vehicle and a very strong driver here. Great initiation there. You can see not a lot of hesitation. Does not push out to that touch and go, but snaps back around for that first outer zone. Pretty good job here. Could have been a tiny bit deeper into that second outer zone, but overall solid performance here by Dirk Stratton.
The Stratton family, again, coming from Ohio, a family affair. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Dirk and his dad, Mr. Stratton. Just cool cats, man. Just really love what they do and how they do it. And I always admire that, just the family affair operations. If it's husband and wife or father and son or mom, you know, the Honordales, they're out here supporting Alec. But and look at that, he does better it. So Dirk Stratton, an 86 on his second run, puts him into number 11 position. Higher tiered vibes. All right, so also, may it be noted that Taguchi, the previous GTR, he did get a score on that second run, so we will see him in head-to-head. So that's he's counting his blessings there. All right, here we go. Federico, again, this twin supercharged V12 599 Ferrari. All right. Nice job there by Federico into the second outer zone. The Nitto tire is ablaze, approaching that final front clip. Again, another wide sweep there. Seems like just cannot get that tidy around that final front clip, assuming we end on time. And there's Federico's score. Boom, an 81. Brian, you called an 81 there for Federico.
Making claim.
Sharifo.
Claiming hard.
There's a new sheriff in town. He's Italian and he drives a Ferrari. There's not enough room for all of us. Federico. If that's your real name, Federico. All right, here we go. This is Austin Meeks, and if I can recall, Austin Meeks did get, right? Is he sitting on a 0 or an incomplete run? The Galp Achilles Radial committed service brand. S chassis bringing it around, LS powered. And it looks like, yes, come on Meeks. And does get a score on the board. Austin Meeks squeaks his way into head-to-head competition.
So it's been a tough morning for Austin Meeks. Put the right rear of the vehicle into outer zone number 2, the left rear into touch and go number 1.
Fortunately for Meeks, and if one ever gets into an accident or a tussle into the wall, if it's either the tires or the concrete, you know, don't go full on spread and hit the back end, you know, the not so critical parts, as opposed to you know, the suspension. You know, you need that angle, you need to get all that, and then obviously the engine. And there's Austin Meeks' score, a 78 on his second run, puts him into number 19 qualifying position. So Austin Meeks, congratulations, you'll be seeing head-to-head competition. And he is a Formula Drift Pro rookie compared to again competing in Pro 2. Here we go. This is Kevin Lawrence. Kevin Lawrence and Juku Racing. Next in tires, R32. And well done there by Kevin Lawrence, ripping through the course. And there it is, a 71 on his second score. Does better a 68 on his first, and he is currently in 20th position. So these guys, you know, maybe getting the jitters out, tapping the wall, getting it in, and now just kind of finding their sweet spot. So Kevin Lawrence, K-Law will be seeing head-to-head competition as Farouk has a go on his second run. Reckless Racing E92. Let's see what Farouk can throw down here. And into the first turn and the touch and go. Doesn't go all the way out there. He has a 66 on his first run. So you can see him on the leaderboard. Farouk, bit of straightening there, but then brings it around that final clip. And there is Farouk's second run. Does that better a 66 run? And awaiting Farouk's score, and there it is, a 79 on his second. That does better a 66 on his first run. So Farouk finds himself currently in 19th position. Tight, keeping it tight. And there you go, the next entire shrouded Toyota Supra. Rad Industries, his own company here in Southern California, again originally from Washington. And here comes Dan Burkett. Looks really fluid on his first run. His own company here in Southern California, again originally from Washington. And here comes Dan Burkett. Looks really fluid on his first run. See if he's gonna ask for a little bit more. All right, thank you for your patience there. Just having some technical difficulties with some audio issues, but thank you for your patience there. Just want to get saw those commercials. We are into the second qualifying runs. The second qualifying runs of Formula Drift round 1. I can hear you. Can you close your mic? Can you close your mic, Tim, please? And here is Ryan, walk us through here.
Yeah, solid run from Dan. Unfortunately, got a little overshadowed by the problems that we were having here, but a great performance from him. He had a strong run in run number 1, and now coming back out in run number 2 and really laying it down. So really seeing him with confidence and just a very fluid flow all the way through for the most part from Dan, and just improving run after run. So good start for him overall.
All right, so Dan Burkett with an 82. Dan Burkett with an 82 on his second run. Ryan, what did he get on? An 83 on his first run. So an 83 will stand to be the better of the two. His first run score. Finishing out his second run. Next up would be Kyle the Menace Mohan. Kyle Mohan from right here in Long Beach, California. American Ethanol. Kyle Mohan Racing. Mazda Tricks. Nexen Tires. It's MX-5. And you can see him there on the start line. And now we go. Here we go. Kyle Mohan for his second qualifying run in this Mazda MX-5. Coming to view of the judges. And he did have an incomplete run on his first run. Mohan needs to complete this in order to advance on into the head-to-head, and Mohan, a slight lift there, but keeps it sideways around that final front clip. And there it is. A 78 for Kyle Mohan. So a 78 for Kyle Mohan. All right, sending the next car here, and that will be Cameron Moore. Now, Cameron Moore, like I said, he had kind of an Austin Meeks type of day as well, having some issues with his vehicle, got into the wall. Hopefully got the issues worked out. Doesn't get all the way out to that touch and go, but now keeps it between the walls, which is much better than what happened previously. But Cameron Moore, the butcher, around that final clip. And Cameron Moore, and there it is, 67, a 67. So not a dynamic score, but a score that will find him into head-to-head competition. You see 12 out of 30 in line, 21 out of 30 on angle, and 34 out of 40 on style. Puts him in number 24 position. Cameron Moore with a 67. And another driver that has an incomplete run on his first run is Jeff Jones. He needs to put down a score here. The Doc X Falcon Nissan 370Z from right here in LA, California. This is Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones into the touch and go. Transitions into that first outside zone. In that second, looks a lot more calm, and the car looks rough and ready here. Well done by Jeff Jones. All right, and Jeff Jones' score was a 75. Jeff Jones does receive a 75 as we will advance. Castro, Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic. You can see him waiting in the wings. The Jadot Metaldom warming up his GT86 and his tires here. Jonathan Castro getting ready, as Castro on his first run had taken a look and see if he can better his second run. Castro, I believe, had an 80. You can see our leaderboard there, Vincic. Yeah, and there it is, Castro with an 80. Here we go. Jonathan. So leaderboard right now, Vincic and Dean tied with that 96. How are they going to do on their second run right now? Castro wants to throw down under the bridge into that first outer zone, into the second. And Castro brings it around. Ryan, do you think that's a little bit better than an 80?
It's a good run here by Jonathan Castro. You can see he gets on that e-brake for a very short period of time. Pretty much gets out to the touch and go. We'll see if it betters his score, but he definitely is improving run by run.
Yeah. Let us know you're watching. or if you're here in the building. There's Castro's score, an 84. So he does just knock it up quite a bit. An 84 puts him into number 13 position. So better than his score of an 80 on his first run. Okay, and this is great. See, Ken Gushi, the Goosh, back in the mix. He wasn't able to have his first qualifying run because of swapping out the transmission, but let's see if he can put down a score. He needs to do this in order to see head-to-head competition. And let's see what he's got. His Gretty Performance, Toyota Racing, Falcon Tires, Toyota GT86, and Ken Gushi does not look phased. And he will begin to score. Yep, there it is. So right on. A little bit of a, you got to think that he's feeling Ken Gushi and the Gretty Performance Products Toyota Racing Toyota GT86 awaits his score, and there it is, an 86 on his second run. Coincidental. And 86 puts him into number 11 position in qualifying. All right, so right now we got Matt Field, and Matt Field had an incomplete run on his first run on the debut of this brand new Falcon Tires Wish Corvette. So let's see what we got here. The Borla exhaust blowing through, Vortex supercharger. That's where he rotated last time. Now he's past the point of no return. The Beast from the Bay. Want to see this thing in head-to-head competition. I know he's got a lot of friends and family cheering him on. And there it is. Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay, will be seeing head-to-head competition. All right, so and there it is, a 91. Wow, look at that big score there for Matt Field. A 91 for Matt Field puts him into the number 4 position. Number 4 position there for Matt Field. Okay, so here it is, Alec Honadell, car number 118. And on the first run, Honadell had an 87 on his first run, which is not too shabby of a score. But just knowing Honadell wants to better it, as all the guys do. So can he join the ranks in that 90s club? Remember, 2 non-consecutive runs, we take the better of the 2. Line accounts for 30 points of the 100. Angle, 30 points for the 100. And style is 40 points. All right, here comes Alec Honadell. Well, a little shimmy shake there into the first corner, into the touch and go. Wow, look at the smoke just billowing off the back of that S14. Coming all the way from Florida, and now putting it down. Let's see what he's got here. A big heavy lift. You can see the smoke signals coming off the back saying he's staying on the throttle, but also when he lifts, you see a lack of smoke. So Honadell, as the wind blows, the palm trees swing, and Honadell waits for his score. And it is an 89, so he does better his first score, puts him into number 5 position, so just outside that 90s club. But it's an 89 for his second run. Gets Honadell up into the top 5. All right, next up, Alex Hilbrun from Lima, Peru. Inca Madness Racing, Nitto Tires, BMW M3, calls this the monster BMW. Supercharged, V8 under the hood. This thing's a rocket ship. Again, notably made a name for himself in Pro 2, podium every round of Pro 2 and winning as well. Look at this, little faint entry into that touch and go. Doesn't go all the way out there, and a quick transition there in between the touch and go and the outside zone. Oh, and a big rotation there from Hilbrun. But Hilbrun did have a score on his first, I believe so, maybe? So fortunately for him, he did have a score on his first run. He had an 87, so he's still sitting good, still sitting highly qualified. But on that second run, does not better it, spins out, incomplete run. But an 87, we'll see him in tomorrow's head-to-head action. What was it? 82, sorry. I don't want to hang a judge out to dry, but yeah. Andy told me 87, but it was an 82. So an 82 there. Here we go. This is JTP Justin Pollock. Falcon Tires, Roush Performance, Ford Mustang. Well done. Yeah, Justin standing on the throttle. Could barely hear yourself think. Man, these Ford Mustangs are really out for blood. Make some noise for JTP. He had an 88 on his first score, which is still very strong. Next after JTP will be Chelsea Denofa, and a 93 for Justin Pollock. Puts him into top 3 position. He sits in third with a 93 in that Falcon Tires Roush Performance Ford Mustang. Again, another happy birthday to this gentleman, Chelsea Denofa. BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Chelsea Denofa went hard into that touch and go. Maybe he's going to turn it down to maybe 10, not go 11 all the way. And there it is. Evades that touch and go. Keeps it off the wall. Gets very familiar with that second outer zone and brings it around that final front clip. And there is Chelsea Denofa. Yeah, and that was the other driver, Dean Carney. Unfortunately, has some mechanical failure in his Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper on Achilles radials. And there's Chelsea's score, and an 88. So he does better his score by 1 point, an 88. And coincidentally, that's his car number as well. He loves the movie Back to the Future, so very befitting, an 88. Also, Chelsea shares his birthday with this gentleman, 3-time Formula Drift champion Chris Forsberg. So happy birthday to these two dudes. Happy birthday to Chris the Force Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink 370Z. As Forsberg, and I believe had an 89 on his first score, and yes, he does. Can he better? Look at it, everybody up in the ante. Is Chris going to do that as well? Into that first touch and go, and now into the first outer zone. Fluid into the second outer zone, and then finally put an exclamation point on it, just barely massaging that final Black Magic front clip. So again, working our way through our remaining qualifying drivers, and Forsberg with a 91 on his second run, puts him into top 5. So a good run there for Forsberg, and he has a 91 on his second run. All right, so advancing on, Matt Kaufman. Matt Kaufman from Central Point, Oregon, from the PNW, Kaufman Racing, Thunderbolt Racing Fuel, Achilles Radial 240SX. It's a Nissan body, but with a Ford heart, V8 under the hood. Wiggling his way into the touch and go. Nice job by Kaufman. Woo! Nice job! Woo! Liking that from Kaufman. Aggressive into that first front clip, and now knocks down that final front clip. Put him in a Kaufman.
Solid performance there by Matt Kaufman, and again, another driver headed into the top 32 tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot more confidence around on the second run for all the guys. Everybody's just stepping it up more and more. And Kaufman, as I said before, just a driver to watch. And when he's on, you could just see it clicking for him, and just a lot smoother. Just the transitions are nastier, and yeah, it is evident in the score. An 86, way better than a 66 on his first score. So an 86 for Matt Kaufman puts him into the 12th position. Okay, Ryan Turk and the Gum Out Black Magic next entire Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86 from Derry, New Hampshire. BC Racing on the corners, talking about the suspension, and here we go. Ryan Turk, what do you got? Send it. The 2JZ powered GT86 transitions under the bridge. Listen to this thing wind out, popping. And around that final clip. Next up, Peter Vincic. Again with that 96, so it's going to come down to the second run. Again, tied with his teammate James Dean, both of them with 96. And we are understanding the scores are in, and it's a 90. He betters it by 1 point, but he does get into the 90s club. That is a 90 for Ryan Turk. Puts him into the number 7 position. It's a 9-0 for Ryan Turk. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are live here at the streets of Long Beach. O'Reilly Auto Parts Streets of Long Beach, presented by Permatext. And here we go. Peter Vincic from Poland. He has a 96 on his first run. Oh, wow. Gets even deeper and more intimate with both the touch and go. The first outer zone, the second outer zone. Peter Vincic. Wow, look at that. Peter Vincic.
Solid performance here by Peter Vincic.
Yeah, very well executed there by Peter Vincic from Poland. As we talked about, the most recent victor, but that's going all the way back to the final round of the 2017 season in Irwindale, California. So a lot of confidence earned throughout the year, and there it is, another 96. So back-to-back 96s for Peter Vincic in that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires Sylvia S15. So the question is, what will James Dean do?
Well, it's going to come down to who has the higher style score is the first tiebreaker.
Yep.
And then we go to the next criteria. But right now they are tied for first place. We'll have to take a look at James's style score. That may be.
Oh, it'll come down to his overall score.
Well, I'm just saying, in terms of this run here, I don't know what he got on the style on his first run, but Peter has a 39, so he could only have a 40, which I don't know that he has that.
Right. All right, so Mike Essa here. Essa Autosports, Achilles Tire, BMW M3. And here comes Essa. Essa, nice into that touch and go area, but it looks like it throws him off into that first outer zone. Another victim of hitting the touch and go too deep, and it throws him off of his line. He finishes it, but definitely I think he's leaving a lot of points on the board. So much history here on the streets of Long Beach, from Formula One, kart racing, to now drifting. And next weekend, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach will be out there. Again, come find us Friday and Saturday night. We'll take you Racing Super Drift Challenge, and there it is, a 79 on his second run. His first score better being an 86. An 86 on his first run, the better of the two. He's in that number 12 position. All right, next up, we have that of Dai Yoshihara. Daijiro Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tires, Subaru BRZ. All right, here we go. Dai Yoshihara out to the touch and go. Flirts with the wall, but doesn't get as close on the first one. Now works it in. You can see him tapping the brakes. This turbocharged LS under the hood. Nice job there by Dai Yoshihara. Turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tires, BRZ. One of the FD veterans from day one. Andy, are you texting? Well, all you guys. And there's the score, Dai Yoshihara, an 89. So betters it by just 1 point. That's an 89 for Dai Yoshihara, and puts him into the number 8 position for that turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tire, Subaru BRZ. Okay, so again, top 5 drivers now. Kristaps Blush from Riga, Latvia. Ryan, you talked about it, the story of that vehicle, the Eurofighter, and what he went through last year.
Yeah, not even knowing if he was going to be able to compete, and just by coincidence, that happened to be coming in from SEMA. Yeah. Great story.
Yeah, and a great driver, really dynamic, comical cat. He's had some awesome moments, and he's trying to make this one as well. Woo! Explodes that back right corner. and you just cringe looking at the beauty of that car. Carbon Kevlar and taillight shrapnel all over under the bridge.
I do believe that is going to be counted as a collision and potentially a 0, and it is.
Okay, so that will be an incomplete run there for Christophs, but he does have a score on his first run. We are back, and what we are hearing is Vaughn Gittin Jr. is foregoing his second qualifying run. So it looks like we are going on into all right, so Odi Bakshis, look at all that smoke just lingering. Again, that V8 S14. We saw him go into the wall earlier, and Odi Bakshis has an incomplete run, so he needs this. If you can recall, on his first run, he right here. He went right into the tire wall. He's gonna evade it. There, steers clear of it. Massive angle from Odi Bakshis. You can see those front drifts wheels, DRSZ, talking about those. Counter steered the white. Seeing some corrections, just wiggling a little bit around that final front clip. All right, so we are, again, like you said, the walk of shame. That's a great way of putting it, Ryan. The walk of shame. So all drivers are in head-to-head. An 88 on his second score. Odi Bakshis finds himself currently in the number 10 position. And next up, the former Formula Drift champion, Frederick Osbo, in a brand new car, and a brand new steed, the Rockstar Energy Drink. Nexen tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla. Brand new car, operated by Papadakis Racing. The hired gun, that is the Norwegian Hammer, Frederick Osbo. Nearly 1,000 horsepower to this 4-cylinder turbo setup. Let's see what he can do here on his second run. And there we go, into that touch and go. Working it, bouncing like a ping pong ball. Approaching that final front clip, Osbo brings it around. All right, so and there's Osbo, 93, a 93 for Osbo. He jumps up compared to an 80. Qualifies third, because that won't change, because James Dean currently sits in the number 1 position along with Peter Vincic. So how is it, is James Dean going to top it? But yeah, and also Forrest Wing.
Yeah, so they're tied. Wing and Osbo and Wing are tied.
Oh, thank you very much. All right. Vincek has a perfect style score, so basically James Dean needs to throw down here in his second qualifying run. Is he just going to better it with a 97? We're about to find out. He goes wall to wall, from the windows to the walls, from the sweat dripping off James Dean's walls. Make some noise for James Dean, the machine, your defending 2017 champion. And there it is, another 96, but style is a 39. So again, unofficially it says position 1, but we'll get down to that, because I believe Vincek has a 96 with a perfect style score.
If I'm not mistaken, that would make Vincek your number 1 qualifier, because I do believe he had a perfect style score. So unofficially, it does look like Peter Vincek is going to be your number 1 qualifier, James Dean number 2, and then whoever had the higher style score between Wang and Osbo. So very, very close battles here for close qualifying runs for the top 4 guys, and just a sensational qualifying, competitively speaking, overall.
Yeah, so just taking a look at the new cars, Federico seeing his Ferrari, looks like he's in the game. Osbo looks like, even though it's a new car, he's backing for it. And then also seems like the drivers, because again, we're talking about qualifying, but tomorrow, who really did their homework in the off season to to take out James Dean. The machine, you know, we need to. Who's going to take him out? You know, I mean, who's done the most homework?
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's hard to know exactly what to predict just by qualifying, but we've just seen that James and Peter have really stepped up their game in the offseason. They've continued to progress, and the other drivers need to make those adjustments and changes in order to keep up with them on track. And we're going to see what's going to happen tomorrow when the battles go down.